Testing. There we go. Testing. There we go. All right, we're live. Okay. So now let's see if... Turning down video settings or using a faster... All right, we're okay. Okay. Good deal. Good morning, everybody. Holy shit. It's really loud. Let me go back to where I was here, which is I was watching the live protests of what's happening all over the United States, and it's this really pains me to see this. It pained me to see what's going on with the officer. You know, the officers and the actions they took with this guy for whatever reason. And there are things coming out now that, you know, like I said, just let the dust settle and things will come out. Thank you, Richard. You know, this is not good for our country. We are just... I've been saying it for a while, and I mean, I just kind of feel it. We're all in turmoil in the United States. We're in turmoil right now, at least in the major cities. So I don't know if you saw what was happening in LA, but like as soon as I woke up, I see this. I got all kinds of messages. People telling me about this. They locked down the White House. When this kind of stuff starts happening, listen, I'm really pissed off about the Twitter thing. And I have various ways of looking at this, okay? Censorship is not a good thing when you are censoring the President of the United States. And he is saying things that people, what it is take the freaking red pill. Nobody wants to see people getting mowed down and shot because they're rioting and looting. Nobody wants to see that. However, if they continue and they try to do this, what option do you have? Okay, maybe you can use your billy clubs, maybe you can use your shields, maybe you could use tear gas and pepper spray. That's the way to go about it, and then you escalate. But this is what happens. People will die if this continues. Because if you think that the police and the National Guard and the government's going to allow this, and then you got Twitter blocking the guy, or at least putting a mask over his comment so you can't see it, all because he said, "Hey, listen, looters. When looters start, then the shooting starts." Well, I mean, how stupid are you if you don't think that that's what happens? I mean, it's not a good thing. Look at this. These people, and they don't look exactly like they're... I'm looking at some people right now, and I'm like, they're basically chastising the police, who are standing there in a line. They're not doing anything. They're just... And you got people egging them on. This is what I'm seeing right now. I can't tell where it's at. Well, the CNN reporter was arrested and then released, so I don't know yet. I did see that. I mean, you know, listen, I kind of thought this would die out, and now, obviously, it's gotten a lot worse. I mean, these police, they've got their guns out, they're backing up, and they're being surrounded. And you got people, yeah, I mean, this is just not good. Yeah, oh boy, the guy keeps saying, oh boy. The guy is irritating that I'm watching, but you cannot take a situation like this with this guy, and now they're saying he didn't die from asphyxiation. That's what the autopsy is saying. Let's see here. See you later, buddy. They're on the. Oh, this is the 110. I'm wondering if this is LA. Yeah, CHP. So it's in California. But this has been going on all over the United States, and it really, New York, Atlanta, Denver, Washington, uh, Los Angeles. So, again, I don't agree with what the police did by using that kind of force on the guy. However, as has been stated and shown and demonstrated by at least a couple of people, putting your knee down on your neck, on a person's neck, probably will not kill them by asphyxiation. I saw a report and I heard from somebody that there was the question of the toxicology report because he may have been under the influence of something. And that may have contributed to his death. Now, I know there's going to be people out there that are like, oh, I was the cop. Oh, it had nothing to do with the drugs. Listen, you want to talk about science? Well, then let's talk about science. You want to talk about what you think? Okay, I'm not saying at all that what they did was the right move. I don't know all the facts, which is what I said yesterday. It sure looked like they were doing something that was unnecessary, but I'm not a cop, and I don't know the situation. They did charge, at least the guy with the knee on Floyd's neck, they did charge him with murder and manslaughter. I mean, I hate to say this, but I wish I was there with my camera right now. And I know I have friends there's somebody in Denver, somebody in Washington, who are photographing this. So that's good. I mean, because it needs to get out there. They need to show, hey, who knows what the police are doing right now? They may be taking advantage of the situation, and that's why there needs to be photographers and people reporting this. But you need to follow their rules that they give you, and there are certain guidelines, but you can't interfere with what they're doing, can't be in their way. So I don't know, but I can see what I'm watching this. Protesting is one thing. Obviously, that's fine. And the same goes in Hong Kong. Now, it's a little different. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm trying to think of here. Because this is all spur of the moment for me. But, protesting is one thing. Nonviolent protest is one thing. When you start burning down police stations, when you start destroying public property, and supposedly they were going after CNN's building, and then 10 minutes later they stopped, and so who knows what the truth of that is. But yeah, first of all, burning down your own city is what idiots do. It doesn't do any good, because guess what? You got to rebuild. And where's the money going to come from? The government? The government's not going to be forking over money for this. That's why we have law, and that's why it's worked. For the most part, it's worked for hundreds of years. Why we have the Constitution, why we have the Bill of Rights, why we have all these laws. It ain't perfect, but I don't see many other governments that have the same. Yeah. So anyway, the difference is. When you're protesting, you're nonviolent. You should be nonviolent. You should be peaceful. Sometimes things get a little bit out of hand. But when you're rioting, you're burning down places. You're destroying public property. And I don't see any point to it because, like I said, you're going to have to rebuild. Second of all, yes, it doesn't honor the guy's life. Whatever kind of life he had a life. Like him, dislike him, whatever, he deserved to live. He didn't deserve to die. Now, I dare say this, what's going to happen if they find out he has high amounts of a drug in his system that caused him to, say, have a heart attack or something like that? You think all these people are going to go back and say, I'm sorry? No, they're not going to. They're going to continue to blame it on the police. And what I find interesting is that you blame it all on the police, but hey, when you need the police, they're there for you. 99% of the time, they're there for you. You can call on them in the United States, you know they're going to come, at least in most places. Yeah, this is a mess. And this is something that China, they love it. They love this. It's all over the news about the guy being killed and the police officer putting his knee on the neck. Like China never kills anybody. They take advantage of everything they see. And this kind of thing, not only is it bad for the property owners, and it's bad to honor because they're not honoring the guy's life and the fact that he had a life, but also it plays right into their hands. And, you know, I wasn't going to stream today. I thought, you know what, Trump, what he did, although, you know, he did take some action. I thought, I'm a little disappointed, to be completely honest. I want him to act a little bit harsher and to do a little more when it came to the CCP. But I kind of understand, because you can't necessarily say, okay, well, you did this, so now guess what, we're going to war right away. You have to go through the steps. And this is an escalation that he's taken with the students and with everything else. The folks that are left on the freeway will be arrested. They're not going to chase the people. They're just going to trap them, and the people will be arrested. Yeah, see, they're doing the exact same thing that, like, the Hong Kong police did and do, which is they block off they section off entire blocks, and then they just move in and tighten the noose. I need my glasses here. The mayor of Minneapolis is weak and not stepping up. Yes, and now I'm going to read a letter that I got from somebody, and he usually only messages me when he's got something really good to say. And then there's another guy who he always tends to be extremely negative, and I'm going to read both. We had a similar problem here years ago when Boston police arrested reporters claiming interference with the duty of a police officer. After years of legal battles, it was determined press has a right to work to report events, but cannot interfere with the work of police. I understand that, but, you know, police can fall upon that anytime they want, pretty much. Boston police were found at fault because they didn't want events recorded, of course. Yeah, that's something else that could be used against them in future proceedings. You know, just do things right. And if you do things right, you do things by the law, and you know your business, your chance of being having someone use something against you in the future is a lot less. Now, that's not the answer, because people are going to find a way. Let me see something here. Notice the out-of-control cities are all run by liberals. Sure seems that way, eh? Because they're so pissed off that they can't have things their way, and that they're losing. They are losing, for the most part. Now, I'm going to read this guy's letter, and then I'm going to read these comments, which I just stopped commenting on, because the guy is so freaking... Listen, I can be, irritable, crass, angry at times, but it seems like every single time this guy writes, he's angry when he writes me. Sorry, Fred, but that's how it seems to me. Hang on a second here. Let me pull it up. I'm watching this. There's a huge presence in the street. This guy's got a police scanner. You can hear the cops saying, push eastbound. You got a unit coming in from the east. You got people, what are they holding up? They're holding up signs, some kind of signs. You know, at this point it becomes something of a public danger to have all these people out and that you're even standing around. They've got it to the point where it's not safe to be standing around because first you got the police. The police don't know what you're doing, what your intentions are, and people have already been rioting and burning places down, so it's hard to tell. But let me see here. Oh, God. Some guy just wrote me, I'm blocked, Scott. How do I get unblocked? Well, I don't even know who you are, buddy, so you stay blocked. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know your name. I don't know your website. And if you tell me, maybe I can unblock you. But right now, I don't know who you are. And if you're blocked, there's a reason why you're blocked. So I've never seen your name. And I don't know, I don't know if this guy's spot, but quite frankly, I can't keep doing this with these people. You're blocked, buddy. I don't know who you are. Why do people always? I can understand changing your name once in a great while, but why do you got to keep changing your name? If that's what's going on here, I don't understand it. And quite frankly, I don't really give a shit. They're getting Metro in now. Okay, so let me read the negative comment first. This guy was talking about, I was like, hey, I think it's a good thing that they start to crack down on the social media platforms for I think it's a good thing because they're cracking down and they're not allowing these platforms to run ramshod over the right, and they're just saying whatever they want and getting away with it, and basically putting everything from the left first and allowing it, and then banning everything, not everything, banning things from the right, censoring. They censored the president, obviously. Censoring him, issuing a warning on his thing. Why don't they do that to Joe Biden? Did they fact check Joe? Do they fact check Joe Biden? He's got a lot of views and a lot of eyes on his Twitter. Why don't they fact check him? Why don't they fact check Hillary Clinton, of all people? They allow them to push this fake Russian narrative, but they don't want to do anything when it comes to the right. They don't want to allow them that freedom. So where is the freedom? Okay, so now this guy is basically saying that there shouldn't be any freedom. There's no guaranteed freedom on a social media platform. And, he does have some valid points, I'll say, but I don't really like what he's saying here, and I don't agree with it, most of it. If social media is far left, then why is Trump heavily vested in it? Since they are private companies, how is it any business or of government? What are their policies? They are not legally bound to provide any of us with free speech. Freedom of speech is guaranteed by government entities. No, freedom of speech is allowed in the United States. Now, if you're in a private arena, obviously you can't say whatever you want, especially if you're working. Now, what I said was that a restaurant will not allow... the government's not going to allow a restaurant to say, hey, you're black, you can come in here, but you're white, you can't. Imagine, the outrage if you had an all-white club and you wouldn't allow a black in. Now, that's a little bit different than this. Biden said a lot of things, but that's an example. The cop's actions directly caused his death, whether he was under the influence or not. Having said that, these riots happened whether the suspect was in the right or not, whether cops did it right or not. Yeah, I mean, but I think, honestly, yeah, like you said, these riots happened whether the suspect was in the wrong or not. These things are going to happen occasionally. These riots pop off. a group of people gets pissed off. The next thing you know, they're influencing others, and then everybody joins in, and it happens. This has been a ticking time bomb. The race issue has been a ticking time bomb, and the police obviously have been interaction with blacks. There's a lot of people pissed off about that, and now it's popped off. Anyway, let me get back to this here. I can only think in one channel. So I wrote back, I believe you're wrong, but we'll find out. You know, it's simple. We're going to find out in court. And I know that some legal experts think, oh, it's not going to work or whatever, but I think that they'll find a way to equalize things a little on the various platforms. As far as Trump being vested in Twitter, I believe he said this numerous times. Maybe you never listened to him because you don't like him. He gets direct, this is the thing, he gets direct access. Not only to U.S. citizens, but anybody who has Twitter around the world, he gets access to those people. If they want to know what's going on, they can go right to his account. So that's why he uses it. It's supposed to be a tool, and it's supposed to be a neutral tool. Okay? Now, he's saying, I did say, well, a restaurant wouldn't let someone in based on, they're not allowed to. They may do it, but usually they're not going to get away with it, where they let somebody in based on skin color or religious beliefs or whatever, something like that. You would think that they wouldn't do that. Maybe religious beliefs, I don't know, some places might, you go into some place, they may not want you there. I don't know. If you don't practice their faith, I don't know what the point is of that. But what I wrote was, let's see here. He wrote, no one is paying anything for social media. Actually, you are paying something, which I didn't get into at that time because I just didn't feel like dealing with this when I'm seeing because I feel like arguing with the guy. But why is it that they'll allow Russia and China and the left to say anything they want, whether it's against our country and false? That's the key. And yet when the Republicans or the right or whoever else says something and it's correct, and they find fault with it, like this, oh, Trump glorifies violence. He didn't glorify violence. It's not him that glorified any violence. One second. Somebody like Clint Eastwood, well, you could easily say, he's glorifying violence with Dirty Harry. Okay, I understand that. I understand that. But Trump is basically saying, listen, if you loot, you're going to get shot. How stupid are people when they really think, well, I can just go around and I can steal from people and do things in mass, in groups. And people are fearful for their property, and it's okay, and they're not going to get hurt. So I don't find that to be such an extreme example, or an example when Twitter really needs to do anything, and especially not mask out the freaking president of the United States. That's just stupid. Anyone else got a lag? Yeah, please let me know if there is a lag. It says that my stream is operating very well now. It's in the green. No lag, no drop frames, nothing like that. So now, I understand there's going to be people out there that don't agree with me. You don't have to agree with me, and that's the beauty of it. I can say what I want. You can say what you want. We can disagree. There's no problem. We're allowed to disagree, and then maybe we come to a resolution that's better because of the disagreement. But let me see here. Let me go on. These social media survives through advertising. It costs me nothing for a Facebook or Twitter account. That's irrelevant. At least I believe it is. They don't owe me free speech any more than my previous employer did. If I work for Scott Mallon Inc., I have to shut the fuck up because it's Scott's turf. I never had any free speech rights at any place I ever worked. Nobody's talking about where you work. That's the thing. We're not talking about, hey, I can say, hey, boss, you're an asshole. Okay, they have the right to terminate you anytime they want. I understand that. With no advance notice. Uh-oh. The people are running. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he noted, this guy notes, funny how they're all dressed in black. Anyway, like riding my bumper multiple times, driving by me when I'm walking, sitting in a parking lot across the street watching me walk. Being black in U.S. is with police is a real issue lately, really bad. I don't doubt that, but then again, can you blame it all on the police? That's what I'm asking. Is it all the police? Or are the blacks actually doing something? Are they doing something that maybe warrants the police taking action? Or are the police just, because they're black, this is the determination. Are they doing something legally wrong? And are the police following the letter of the law? Or are they just profiling them and saying, hey, listen, you're black, you happen to be here, and, Did you see Valuetainment respond a few videos ago to those who complain about how unfair social media coverage is and it censors the rights view? Yes, I did see that. He said, don't complain about the liberals, Facebook, YouTube, Google, or Twitter. They put their money into these companies and create such platforms. I understand that, but just because you put your money into it and start it up, they are, by law, they are supposed to be neutral. They receive benefits from the government based on this. So if they want to start paying huge amounts of taxes, then they can put their money into the government. The left started doing this 20, 30 years ago, and right invested and bought businesses, but never invested in similar platforms. You can't complain since your own party failed to invest in social media and has yet to do so. I'm not complaining about that. I don't really care what party they are, and that's the difference. Driving down the road, walking down the road, nothing wrong with that. I agree. Now, here's the thing. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act ensures social media companies who purport to provide users a forum for free and open speech, but nonetheless engage in deceptive or pretextual censorship, will not be allowed or entitled to immunity for such actions. So it doesn't say anything about whether it's paid or not. That has nothing to do with it, at least as I see it. I'm no lawyer, and neither is this guy. Also, a social media platform is not your place of employment. These sites receive immunity and benefits from the government based on this supposed neutral, and yet they are hardly neutral. So, like what I said to him is, we'll see in court. And then I guess he got a little irritated. He said, the Federal Communications Commission, he took out the word fucking, has no authority over social media, only broadcast media. I was in broadcast for over 40 years. This is my field. FCC rules and regulations do not apply to social media. Well, again, I'm sorry, but I beg to differ. No provider or user of, and this is also part of this Communications Decency Act, no provider or user, and this is what Trump and his people are doing. They're going right after these platforms because of this act and because of what they're finding in the wording. No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. And, the thing is that I believe, now, some people may claim otherwise, that these social media platforms take editorial liberties that side with whatever political ideology they have. And by doing so, what they do is they are editorializing, and they're not supposed to be doing that like a publication. They're not supposed to be doing that. I was just going to say the social media are given immunity for lawsuits about what they release. This was done early to encourage the growth of the new industry way back. I understand that. But guess what? I don't think anybody could have guessed that they would have grown to be the behemoths that they are and to have the influence that they have. And so because of this, they want to change the law. They want to modify the law. And that's what happens over time. Most of the time, if you have a problem like this, and this is becoming a problem, and people have been noting this for quite some time, eventually, especially when you go after the President of the United States for something as minuscule as what he said and some of the things that he's done, and it's like, what? You got people from ISIS on that are claiming to do things. You got people from the left and Antifa, and you have all these other organizations. And I understand there's a freedom of speech, but there is a limit. Just like you can't go into a movie theater and cry fire, or anywhere else for that matter, unless there really is a fire. Now, let me continue here. It is something that, listen, this just came out. I've had very little time to think this over and to really think about it and to figure out what's going on. But, and I want to look into it deeper. But now he's saying, how the fuck does the FCC shut down the internet? Who said anything about shutting down the internet? Can't be done, and they know that. Nobody said anything about shutting down the internet. Let them abuse radio and TV stations all they want. Just keep their money-grubbing hands off social media. Okay. So, to me, that last paragraph there, the last comment, really didn't make much sense. I don't understand what he's getting at there, because the FCC is not going to shut down the internet. Then Congress, not the president, needs to reevaluate the statute and make the needed changes if needed. Well, I believe that's what will happen eventually, because if he's shot down, if this executive order doesn't pan out, it's going to have to become a law. And I think it may become a law. It may become law that they're not allowed to do some things. And I've been wondering, how do you balance the media presenting things as fact that are not factual purposely? And then I just heard Jim Acosta yesterday saying, oh, well, we make mistakes once in a while. It's funny how they make mistakes when they get called out. I mean, people make mistakes. So does the president. So does his advisors. Everybody makes mistakes. We're human. Hopefully, at the top, they're making less mistakes than other people, because it all rolls downhill. But you got somebody like Acosta talking about how, oh, well, we make mistakes. No, what you do is you guys lie sometimes. And I guarantee you that, listen, the president and his staff, as much as I like Kayleigh McEnany and she promised not to lie, my guess is she lies on some occasions. Now, I don't know if she's lying to the public, if she's lying to her husband, I don't know who she's lying to. But, she's saying, she said, I will not lie to the public. I bet you that she has already lied or stretched the truth. Google is not down for me. Wow, in LA, it's just crazy. What are these people thinking? They're not even protesting. At this point, they're not even protesting. They're just causing turmoil. The problem is, if the argument is those privates are private and can set their own guidelines, then defund them at the federal level of any... That's my point. They cannot be allowed to have these immunities and these benefits and yet be able to do whatever they want. And basically, if they're pro-government, then they'll allow things that are pro-government. If they're anti-government, then they may allow a few. This is exactly what China does. Exactly. They allow just enough information that kind of questions them. Look at the South China Morning Post. They're a Chinese paper. But then again, you have like China Daily, who's completely full of shit. But they're a state-run media. Where's the truth? Yeah, did they burn down a Target? I mean, they burned down a bunch of places. 170 buildings? That's just crazy. All right, now, this comment that the guy made. He has a point. Who knows what's going to happen? There needs to be freedom, though, and it seems to me like now they're trying to shut the president's mouth. Oh, he violates the terms of our service. How did he? He's not. How do you say that somebody's glorifying something by saying, "Hey, if the looting starts, the shooting's going to start"? Good. Yes, they get immunity from liability on contents, but they do get some other benefits, and I've read them. I'll have to go over them. Like I said, that's why I gloss over this stuff. I haven't had time to look at everything in depth yet. I mean, this is kind of just kicked off. All this has been kicked. This is one thing that I say is, you could go somewhere in like the Central African Republic, and you go, wow, what a beautiful country. It's so nice. The people are so friendly. They're so cool. Or it could be Thailand for that matter. Everything's wonderful. Wow, what a great place. It's nothing like I thought it would be. Something happens. Some guy from one religion gets pissed off at some shop owner and hits him, and then the shop owner shoots him, and then the next thing you know, the guy's friends come. And before you know it, in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, you're like, holy shit, I got to get out of here. Wow. It looks like they're going southbound on the 101 and people are shooting whatever at them. It doesn't sound like they're shooting guns. Why, they should be liable. And one thing that really gets me, and this is coming, listen, I mean, I understand you need to be able to have your freedoms, but like, how many times have news organizations fallen back on our sources say, and you go, okay, where's the source coming from? Because you know what? If it was a source, it's going to be somebody who's leaking information. Now, what do? You allow them to keep doing that, leaking the information, and just keep saying, oh, well, our sources say, well, listen, at some point there's a line that you can't cross, and I know this isn't the greatest critical argument here, but I think that's why some of the government is so pissed off when people do let out secrets and then they know who they are. Because even then, I mean, they can't do things. And I think that sometimes, like in the case of Snowden, it's kind of like, well, if you're not doing anything illegal, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Well, the industry doesn't need to grow all that much more anymore. I think the government has helped them enough. How much bigger does YouTube need to get? Tell me that. How much bigger does Twitter need to get? What are you going to do? How are you going to expand the business? So there's a lot of things to think about here. Let me see here. Uh-oh. Guy trying to drive. Is that a guy or a cop? No, it's just a civilian. Let's see here. What was I looking for? You know, YouTube has the right to you can't take. I will say this on YouTube, there is nothing, or any other platform for that matter. There is nothing that says uh, you have the right to make money. Oh yeah, this stream is already demonetized for me talking about all this stuff. Which whatever, they have the right to do that. I do understand that. I don't always like it, obviously, but I do understand it. So I don't know. Is anybody in an area now where anything is popping off? Lots of people marching down. It looks like right in the heart of LA. Let me see here. Anyway, what are you going to do? You know, you're either going to join them or you're not. For me, I wouldn't want to be in this position where I'm walking down the street and I'm doing all. I don't understand what the purpose of it is. You want to do something, have a formal protest or something like that, march down the street, but don't start looting, because that just defeats the cause. If people don't agree with a company or in a position, then you have the right to spend your money elsewhere. Go elsewhere. I understand that. That's true. Yes. And that's the thing, with YouTube. Not many places you can go, but guess what? That's not their problem. It's not. If you don't like it, you got to find other things to do. Use Vimeo, use Dailymotion, use Spotify if they get bigger. I'm a little bit torn by this, but I do think that they are editorializing. You can call it moderating, but I think they're editorializing. Held back information showing no collusion for years, claiming they had evidence, but couldn't show us because of security matters. They held it back because they were liars. Lies on Twitter. I agree. When is this Flipboard? Flipboard is so 2000s. I haven't used Flipboard in years. Why are they still sending me a message? That's life. Yeah. This guy is so irritating. He's like I think he's a Twitter guy. He's out on all channels, but he's got Smoke and Scan is the guy's channel. But News said National Guard just retreated from Minneapolis. Retreated why? Let's see here. Alarmed Minneapolis protesters meet with National Guard with racist past. Oh God. This is the Daily Beast, the first one that pops up on Google. You'll learn the military is racist as shit, so get used to it now, you fucking piece of shit, one of the Guard members said in a clip. Okay, I don't see the clip, and I haven't had a chance to look for it, so I'm sorry, but I just find that to be a little bit... I find it to be disturbing, but I also find this site, just from what I'm seeing... of course, they're taking all the comments from people who are doing things they shouldn't be doing. They're rioting. They are looting. They're here like shoot to kill, Danica Holloway told the Daily Beast Friday afternoon. Someone is going to get hurt. Then stop looting and stop burning things down, and you won't get hurt. How stupid are some of these people? Why don't you just go home and then formalize some kind of a protest and do it that way? You think one reason we've had more police incidents today is because of their makeup? I haven't watched any of the riot. It's like watching reruns of a bad movie. Yeah, definitely. We've always had them. It's just easier to show now. Yeah, this is the thing, and I've said this for a long time. The internet is a blessing and a curse. There are some questions as to whether or not this guy was under the influence of something. Now, I'm not saying the police didn't overreact. Let me just reiterate. I'm not saying they didn't overreact and shouldn't be charged with murder. And it's inexcusable. But from what I saw one article earlier, just a short while ago, that said that he did not die from asphyxiation. Now, let me read this guy's letter, because it was quite good, and I'm not going to be able to write him back or anything right now. I'm listening to your recent stream, and I never get to listen as I'm in Europe, and I always want to give my 2 cents. It is clearly a killing of someone who was contained. I don't see anyone or hear anyone justifying this killing murder, except CNN seems to link it to Trump. Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that this was Trump created this and Trump did it, and I don't buy that. You can't blame everything on him. You can't blame everything on the President of the United States. And listen, if he says to me, hey, Scott, go jump off of that mountain right now, take one for the team, I'm going to be like, no. I don't have to listen to him. Hey, you know what, Scott, if you eat rat poison, you're going to feel better. No, I'm not going to do that. The background of this guy is quite interesting. However, the police never knew about it with their first contact. I assume, but possibly did. They did know once they radioed the arrest in. He was in prison in Texas and was recently released and moved to Texas to start over. So the police going into the scene would have known none of this, and the video shows everyone being actually polite, and then the knee goes onto the neck. I do wonder if they found out he had been in prison due to his record and decided to use more force. Still, totally not needed, being handcuffed and on the ground. That's the other thing. The guy was handcuffed. I don't care how big he was. I mean, it doesn't take much. There are pressure points that you can hit, even as a big guy. When you got 4 people there, I would think that, being trained officers, and at least one of those officers has some size, he's the big guy, that you'd be able to deal with it. I see more ex-military on local police here. These are people the government trained to kill, which goes beyond what most people normally do. I don't know about that, man. They leave the service and are given special treatment to join public service. Is kill insistent still there? I don't think so. When these officers are in situations that they act differently, excessive source. So now what you're saying is you can't bring in ex-military people? Not everybody in the military was trained to kill, as in they are truly efficient and a trained killer. There are a lot of people that go into the military, they learn, hey, this is the place where you how to kill somebody, but they do not necessarily know what the fuck they're doing. So, I'm ex-military. If I was a cop, I would have tossed that fellow cop's knee off his neck. Just a certain part of the military trains to kill the enemy more than others doesn't mean we lose our morals. Yes, thank you. That's my point. Something I found totally surprising while I was listening to Thursday's edition of Rush Limbaugh, he had a caller who was a police officer, and he brought up a claim that the man killed was possibly on drugs and OD'd. Now, that's something I didn't hear until I got this message, the OD part. Did hear about him being on drugs. I did not hear about him overdosing. And who knows? Could have had a heart attack. Could have overdosed. I don't know. Was really surprised by this. But then Friday morning at CNN, they brought up the possibility they are waiting for toxicology results on this man. I know the Minneapolis prosecutor's office has said there is a chance there is not enough evidence to charge with murder. I have to think there may be additional information like a toxicology result or some sort of slight overreach used by the officers that will be their loophole. that could happen. And that's going to set people off again. Why do we have more police episodes today than in the past? Because you see them. You see them now because the news is everywhere. You can't escape it now. Or it's very difficult. I was trained to kill, but I do not do it when followed by police. Well, that would be a serious mistake if you did. And by the way, thank you for everybody who contributes to this channel, and I do mean in conversation, in viewing, lurking, whatever, in giving thumbs up, thumbs down, that's okay, whatever. It's all interaction. And everything I do here online is brought to you by you. You, the people. And by your, the whole, you can join up and become a member on YouTube, which now I'm starting to gain some more members. It's starting to get rolling, which is a good thing. And then there are, books and shirts I have. The shirt should be below the video window. There's PayPal, there's CASHAPP, there's Patreon, which thank you to all my Patreon patrons. There's my website. There's lots going on there. I've made some changes on my website. I'm going to continue to make some changes. I've had some time and I've had some energy to do all these things. Yesterday I went for a long walk, and I actually thought to myself yesterday, I feel good. You know what? Maybe if I take my time, I could do a Pattaya trip. I could take a walk from Bangkok to Pattaya. Maybe I could do it, as long as all I'm carrying is water and, money. And that will be it. And maybe, a phone. Let's see here. What's not being covered much yet is the community-organized busing in of Antifa agitators in multiple cities at the same time. This is not organic. Rather, if it ever is. I don't know, has there been Antifa here? Now, one thing that even this guy goes, it looks like everybody here is dressed in black. Now maybe that's just smart because, at nighttime, it's harder to see people who are dressed in black. However, this Antifa thing has gotten out of hand and been allowed too long. Beyond, it is easier to show those bad interactions now. In the past, I do believe law enforcement is better now than in the past, but there will always be bad people in important jobs. I agree. And, I've been saying this a lot lately. A small number of people who are bad apples make it much worse for all the good people. And that goes for flying because of 9/11. That goes for this virus and the CCP. The CCP is relatively large, but when it comes to the size of their country, the people in power are relatively small, which is almost always the case. It's a triangle, pyramid. And so, oh yeah, they got the copters out. Oh, they got people running away. You got all kinds of stuff going on. You got people just walking. Then you got some people that are sprinting. Cops got somebody. That must have been the guy who was sprinting away. They got him. It's very difficult to escape the police, really. Not many people are successful when they're trying to escape the police. And, when you got the whole government after you, whether it's the local government or the federal government especially, your chances go down dramatically. That's why, as much as I joke around about, if you could disappear, sometimes I think it would be nice to disappear. Now, I got a family. That means the whole family. Oh, this guy. Oh, it looks like they're either hitting him or they're tasering him. And here comes the cops from behind. He was fighting back. Oh, he's saying he wasn't doing anything. He said something. Now, this is the thing, too, is you cannot beat somebody up. Oh, they're throwing stuff at the cops now. Oh, I don't know if that was a live bullet or what. What was it? Well, that was about Finn. That was about a 10-minute ordeal apparently, and they backed off, and they apparently they didn't burn down CNN. Damn shame. I'm joking, sort of. Longhorns. So you're saying we had the same, if not more, police episodes than in the past? Well, there is a larger population now too. You got to remember that than say 50, 60 years ago. And people's mentality in the United States is much different. You think about this: 60 years ago, 70 years ago, you didn't have things. As far as I know, you didn't have groups of people that took pride in instigating problems with police officers or questioning their authority over and over and over again. And sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. I mean, I've seen little clips where the guy's telling them, no, I'm not doing this, I'm not showing you that, I'm not showing you this. And the police officer's just like, listen, this is the law, you need to get out. No. Boom, they break open his windshield because he's got the door locked, and they drag him out. That's happened numerous times. So people are more apt to rebel, in my opinion, now than in the past. And also, they know it's going to be on camera, so if this guy hurts me, it's going to be shown. Somebody's going to see it. I think a lot of people know that. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. This is a really, when you have people and they're all interacting, mingling with each other, it's police, protesters, it gets to be very dangerous. If they're just cordoned off and you have a line of cops and then you have the protesters like in Hong Kong, I think it's a much safer for the most part because if anything pops off, it's us against them. Where you're in here, you don't know where anything's coming from the way that they're doing things now. I think cops were worse in the past, but now you hear about it more because easier to expose it. CNN was this afternoon. It was Karma. CNN incited Bim and Ferguson. How bad were the protests in the 50s and 60s? I don't think they were as bad as this. I don't think they were as regular as this, but I could be wrong. I haven't studied history in years. I don't remember some of the things. I know, certain things happened. But I think it's the acceptance, yes. Do you think the acceptance to rebel today is due to the years of unanswered? No, I don't think it's because of that. I think there is more of an acceptance to rebel now. But I think it's because more and more people are saying, hey, they don't have the right to do this. And I saw this on this TV show, or I saw this on this video I saw. They can't do this. Heavy user and heart damage as a result. Sounds like they're trying to excuse the cop. That could be. I won't be surprised by that either. No cause. Most of the riders are too young. Yeah. Guy wouldn't have died without the dude on his neck for 8 minutes. Now, I agree with this. I don't believe that they needed to be on him for so long. And the guy's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, over and over again. Please, I can't breathe. I wouldn't want them doing that to me because I would probably die. And I'm serious. Vandalism. It looks like tear gas. And just, I don't know what these people are thinking. It's an opportunity. I have my doubts, and then you want to talk about inciting violence. Listen, I like Ice Cube, and I like his movies and stuff like that, and his music before. But he did say, something to the effect. Let me see here. I want to quote him properly. He made a comment like 2 days ago. And obviously now this is 32 years ago. We made the song "Fuck the Police." He also said police have become our worst bullies, which, okay, I can accept that. And here he says he ponders whether George Floyd's death should spark violence. What? How long will we go back for blue on black crime? How long will we go for blue on black crime until we strike back? Now that to me sounds like a call for action. And I like the guy. But it is what it is. I'm more disappointed that the other cops didn't correct that asshole cop for anything else. Yeah. I mean, as a human being, hey, enough. Let up a little bit. Let him breathe. I mean, would it have hurt to let a little bit of pressure up? Oh, the guy's going to jump up and sprint off. He's a big boy. He's not going to, believe me, he's not going to just jump right up, pop right up, and, do a backflip and start kung fu-ing everybody. He's not going to pull the kung fu fighting and do a Bruce Lee on these people. I hope the cops get better training after the situation. I wouldn't count on it because of money. You don't need training to know that your fellow man is in distress and being abused. Exactly. Maybe the cop shouldn't be charged for murder, but maybe involuntary manslaughter. He didn't mean to kill him, but the cop needs to be accountable for his actions. Well, I do think he needs to be accountable for his actions, for sure. Now, what he's charged with, it remains to be seen. Especially if the guy was on drugs and if he had a heart problem or something like that. How can you say it's murder from a legal standpoint if the guy's got a heart problem and he's had a long history of doing drugs and maybe his heart and his lungs were in bad shape, and the guy stuck his knee down on his neck, and I'm not saying that it's justifiable, but I think that legally they may be able to find out, they may be able to find a way to get that cop out of the murder rap. Now, manslaughter, that's a different story. But, again, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know all the intricacies of the law, and there are a lot of ways that good lawyers can use the law to benefit the police, and, obviously this has happened before. So, yes, there are several Antifa types in full gear breaking windows and starting fires in Minnesota on film. Now, I believe that. And it doesn't do any damn good. It doesn't do any good. You might think that, now they're going to see. No, they're not. They're not going to see anything. They're going to say, you're a criminal. Yeah, you're going to get shot. This is what this other guy's saying. Different states have different level of murder charges. Yeah. Why would you want him out of the murder rap? I'm not saying I want him out of anything. I'm saying that if it is what it is, man, the law is going to determine what it's supposed to be, not me. Do I think it's murder? If they say, you say that he clearly killed the guy for no reason, but you weren't there. You don't know. You could see the video, but you don't know all the backstory. And this is a problem. We're working on half facts right now. We don't know all the facts. Give it time. You'll find out. What are you going to say if you found out that he was high on crack, he's drunk, legally drunk, he's on PCP or something like that, and he has a heart problem or a lung condition or something like that? What are you going to say then? You're going to say that he put his knee down on his neck and that contributed? Or are you going to say that killed him? I think there is a difference. Because if it contributed to his death, that doesn't necessarily mean he murdered the guy. He didn't intentionally murder the guy. Now, I'm not a lawyer. It's just how I'm thinking from seeing, different things in the law. What was clear? Do you know he wasn't on drugs? Do you know anything like that? Do you know what the toxicology report was? Do you know that there was what you just, and what you're doing is assuming. How's it any different? There's no difference. Yeah, more people running and cops and march. A lot of people are marching. Looks peacefully to me. You're stating what happened. How do you know everything that happened? I'm asking you, what is the toxicology report? Did you see that there's a report that he did not die from the what do you call it? The autopsy showed that there was no asphyxiation. How much clearer does that have to be? His knee contributed to the death. At least that's what I think. I don't know that it caused his death. That's what I'm saying. And I'm looking at it from all angles. No need for the knee in the neck. Well, that is a way of containing somebody. I don't know, ask Longhorns. People do that, but they don't usually, it doesn't seem that they put as much pressure down. Now, I've seen it done in Hong Kong many times. Listen, you can say that, but you weren't fucking there, buddy. What don't you understand? You weren't there. I don't care what you see in the video. You don't see, how long was the video? Couple of minutes? You don't know everything that led up to it. You don't know the interaction before that. So what I'm saying is, until you hear what the truth is and you get all the facts, not just some of them, don't just assume that because he put his knee on his neck, which may have been unnecessary. I'm not saying that it was necessary or unnecessary, either way. But what I'm saying is wait for all the facts to come in, and then you can figure it out. The cop directly caused his death, in my opinion. Also, he didn't render aid when he was getting worse. Again, I don't really dispute that, but what I want to see, I want to see about the drugs. I want to see about his heart condition, his medical condition, because just the interaction with the police may have set something off. Who knows? So I don't doubt that he was excessive, but what I'm saying is, I mean, when you got 4 cops there, I don't think he needed to put his knee down and keep it there. He had him handcuffed. I don't think that that was necessary. Do I think that the knee to the neck killed the guy? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like we're fighting about pretty much the same thing. I was a federal officer for 21 years. I did that. I would have been charged with violence under color. Ask anyone who was in LA in the 60s. They were terrified of the LAPD. Nothing is black or white. Thank you very much. And this is the thing. Just because you were a federal officer, and, you know, listen, I appreciate that, and appreciate your knowledge and all that kind of thing. And like I said, I don't dispute that it was excessive. What I'm saying is, until you find out, was the guy whacked out of his head? It didn't seem like it. But if he was under some kind of medication, it could have been legal medication. Are they shooting? Something was popping off there. Those weren't even EMTs who picked him up on the stretcher. They were cops. Okay. The other thing I don't like is police officers are automatically given immunity of liability. Okay. I don't like that either. Families should have the right to sue police officers regardless of criminal outcome. Why didn't they check his stats? You got me, man. I don't know what, you know, as far as I know, they did eventually check, not his stats, but they checked out what was going on with him. Maybe they didn't have a chance until they had him handcuffed. And I don't know what, see, this is the thing. I don't agree with what they did. Don't get me wrong. I think if you can't contain a man, and he's a big guy, I mean, listen, imagine, say, Wilt Chamberlain. You think 4 guys are going to be able to pin him down? And, well, if he's got his hands behind his back, I would think you got to find a way. You need to know, okay, we can do these things. So maybe their training wasn't good enough. Or maybe they did it willingly. Maybe they did this willingly. I don't dispute that either. But I'm looking at it from all angles. And I'm telling you that if the guy was on drugs, they're not going to charge this guy with murder, and he's not going to be found guilty of murder. I don't think it's going to happen. Manslaughter, maybe. Civil lawsuit, I don't know. Can they do that? I think so. The cop also knew the suspect. Well, here's the thing. He worked with the suspect. There was no confirmation that I saw that they actually knew each other and were like buddies or anything. One worked on the inside, one worked on the outside. They may have said, hey, what's up, dude, or something like that. I don't know. There's no police training that provides for putting full body weight with the knee on a suspect's neck. It's too risky. Furthermore, he was already handcuffed while this was occurring. Well, I've been saying that. And that's why I don't get the knee to the neck. What I'm saying is the knee to the neck may not have been what caused the death, at least directly, okay? When we detain combatants in war, we never put our knee on their neck, especially after we zip-tied them. Now, before we got them under control, you do what you have to do. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. This guy was under control. He looked like he was under control. Regardless of all this, what they're doing now doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit their cause to stop police violence. It doesn't benefit, their hatred for. It doesn't benefit the cause to hate the president of the United States or their local government or whatever. It doesn't do anything. So the larger question is, what needs to be done in this country to resolve such issues? Exactly. What are you going to do, though? Take away the right for police to, put somebody in a chokehold? I mean, okay. Peaceful protest was the way to go, at least for now. Listen, I'm not saying, sometimes the only way to really effectively make change is to do it through violent actions. And I'm not glorifying that or anything, but it seems like in many places, are they going after this guy? In many places, they take action violently, the protesters, and then they overthrow the government and they start the new government. Now, in Hong Kong, this really hasn't been possible, and in the United States, it ain't going to happen. I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. They're not going to overthrow the government, and I think if they start getting close to the White House and start threatening, and they really believe they're in danger of being run over, people will get shot for sure. It gives a lot to think about, and this is the other thing. Now, here's something else. Nobody's even talking about this. How about all these people running around? Let me see something. I'm trying to see close enough. How about all the people running around with no masks on or who are very close in close quarters? Nobody's saying anything about the coronavirus now. They're not talking about, hey, maybe these riots and protests are going to contribute to a spike in the coronavirus. Is this due to socio-economic reasons, education disparities, lack of good opportunities? What is it? Honestly, I think when there comes a point where you're only owed the freedom to have a decent life. I don't believe, and it should be that everyone in the United States, you would think everyone has the right to an education, which they do, but it's not necessarily the best education anymore. But I think when it comes to the economics, what happens, sometimes you got people that their families, they need every person working so that they can make ends meet and survive. And when you get into that position, guess what goes first? The education, because you need somebody to go out on the farm and work on the farm or whatever. What are you going to do? Just give somebody a good paying job for nothing? If so, give me a job for, say, $250,000 a year. I mean, a good job, I would think, benefits most people. Now, some people are going to screw it up no matter what. This goes back to outsourcing. So now we're going to, this is such a complex matter And the problem is, we're never going to, it's like having a list of a list of a list of lists. You've got 50 lists, and then you got 50 more lists, and they're all on the one list. And after a while, you're just like, I don't even know where to begin, how to tackle this. The United States governments around the world are no different. They got so many issues to deal with, they can't possibly. It's like they're putting out fires. That's all they're doing. Outsourcing. How about we just try to keep everything in the United States, that, like our manufacturing and all these other kind of things. Now, that's very, very difficult, damn near impossible. But guess what? The idea of everybody works, everybody has a job, and, listen, in Hong Kong, even the street cleaners tend to have money saved. Some of them have land, or they have a house. And one of the reasons why people are so upset now is because it's getting harder for them to do that. Well, they took somebody down. So how did they manage that? Maybe what we need to do is start looking at other governments and trying to figure out where we're falling short. Not that they're not doing that already. But something's got to give. Yeah, this is an extremely complex issue, and I don't even, listen, there comes a time when you just have to throw your arms up and say, you know what, we're going to do the best we can, and that's all we can do. When you got idiots, and that's what these people are, they're idiots. The people who are looting and burning things down, they're idiots. They're taking advantage of a situation. It's the whole thing. Like in LA riots, people are running down the street with TVs laughing. And this is hey, I got free stuff. This is never going to be resolved. We're going to die seeing these problems. People are dying every day. Guess what? Nothing's been resolved. Oh, now you got the cops. They're standing down in a line. You do have a guy just sitting there on the ground, which is, good. It'll never be resolved because there's always be bad people and people who think they can totally resolve it when you can't, and will use it to overreact. We can only try to improve it. Longhorns, you're a little more intelligent than I gave you credit for, even though I thought you were very intelligent. But very prolific words there. I agree we need to bring back manufacturing. There are less union jobs today than 20 years ago. Yeah, well, you know how it is about the unions. That's a whole nother can of worms. There are less union jobs than 20 years ago. Middle class incomes have been stagnant for the last 40 to 50 years. While executive salaries have increased 1,800%, healthcare is out of control in the United States. Yeah, what I find funny is that a lot of the people that have been the loudest talkers with regards to stay at home, and if you don't stay at home, you're going to be fined, you're going to be put in jail. These are people who have these government jobs. They're guaranteed their salary. They don't have to worry about, am I going to starve? Are my kids going to go, Mommy, why can't I go here? Why can't I go there? And I don't have any money we don't have any money for this, or we don't have any money for that. Life for middle class is hard, and desperate situations cause desperate situations. Desperate situations cause desperate actions. Yeah. Another large crowd approaching from the north. Flower and 7th. Now I know where Flower Street is. This is from a helicopter, the view, I believe. Like Longhorn, how's your 401k? Despite dramatic increases in worker productivity, workers' real pay has been stagnant since the 1970s. YouTube makes it difficult to convey intelligence with the limit on text. Yeah, the other thing is that, I'll tell you something that I find is a problem. I I admit this, for whatever reason, whether it's from falling on my head when I was young, whether it's from being punched, in the ring or whatever, or just being older, or not eating enough. Thank you to whoever. What is that? Oh, Ashley Pacifico just subscribed. I don't know who that is, and I don't want those subscription doodads to pop up, so I'm going to have to change that. But I don't always remember a lot of things, and there's things obviously I just don't know. But when you're dealing with things that are breaking on the spur of the moment, it's very difficult to get up to speed with everything that's going on, and to know the backstory, to know everything that you need to know. It's very difficult. There's a lot of things that I'm winging it, and this is kind of one of them. Because quite frankly, I can't do anything about what's going on with the race issues and there's not much I can do from over here. And there's not much I can do when I'm over there either. I mean, I guess if I was photographing things, maybe. But give me a second. I'm trying to do 8 things at once again. What is this? Wow, what is this? Connect your doodah. That's not what it says. Boy, it would be nice to have a. Oh yeah, there's people on the freeway and cars they're just driving down the freeway. Now people are starting to see them, but man, it sort of looked like they were going to get whacked. I'm trying to figure this out here. Now, let me go on here. Let me see here. My last point is, how exactly is this racism? Is not racism the mistreatment of someone due to the race of their skin? Is there clear evidence that the cop treated this man differently than a white man? I understand that it is white versus black in the video, but it is not clear racism. I know I have watched enough cops on Friday nights growing up to see white people get treated the same. I am not trying to make an excuse for this. I just think the claim of racism is overused anytime there is a disagreement or arrest between two races. Well, I think that's always going to happen, to be completely honest. All right, let me see if I can figure this out here. Here we go. This is a widget thingy. All right, I got it. All city, state, and federal employees have a nice pension courtesy of American taxpayers, guaranteed for life with annual increases. Why don't all Americans have this? Because they're not working for the government. They're not working for them. They're working in the private sector. The people who can make a difference in race relationships make it worse. Well, they're making it worse right now. A lot of those pensions are bankrupt unless some of the states bailed out. Politicians exploiting it for self-serving reasons. The media driving their destructive agenda. 300 protesters approaching. It is not a lot. What's not a lot? Add characters like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Well, I think they're, as much as they want to believe that they're helping their race, I think that they are trying to help themselves as well quite a bit, if not more so than most people. I think we've seen through it at this point, and I know that they've helped some people, but man, they are always there, ready. 3 times high salary time, 1% times number of work. Okay, well then try to get that passed. Then I mean I don't know. I think that everybody needs to. I think everybody would like to see that there is security, um, and that it wasn't that the pensions weren't mismanaged, weren't abused. I think people want that. It's nice to know you're secure, and you know what? I think people are a lot nicer when you know. Hey, I got nothing to worry about. You know, I got nothing to worry about. What do you got to go in? You think somebody's gonna, some black guy's gonna go in and rob a Korean liquor store? You think you're gonna have these kind of issues? You think some white cop is gonna be real apt to kill a black guy? You think you're gonna have these kind of problems? I guarantee you they're gonna go down dramatically. Something's going on here. And, they don't have anything cordoned off. It's just like a police car, which is backing up now. And you got all these protesters kind of like coming at the car. Well, now I didn't think of this, but how is this going to affect the latest stimulus bill? Or is it? Because these people are going to link this is not only going to be linked to the death of George Floyd, this is also going to be linked to their unhappiness and the way that the government's taken care of them during the coronavirus. I never thought the government was supposed to take care of you. I always thought the government was supposed to govern and to implement their policies. And if that means that they're able to help people and take care of people, then great. Oh. They've surrounded this police car. It's like a blazer or something. I mean, this is just stupid. They go right up to the window of the cop and they're... Look at this chick. She's dancing through the street. Like, why are you happy with all this? How can you be happy? Here comes the cops. Another couple of cars pulls up. The problem, all pensions are underfunded. They collect money today to pay for those who've retired. Where I live, the town is close to. Money can't solve everything. I say, honestly, it's about being employed. And in this case, obviously, right now, during this time, a lot of people are out of a job. They're angry. They're pissed off. They're worried about this virus. Then they see another problem. And I've been saying this for the last couple of days. You got this medical problem. You got the problem with the left and the right. You got the fact that not only are there problems between the parties, but now you got this hatred for Trump, the president, who's the leader, like it or not. I mean, I understand you don't have to like him, but like there are people that they just, all their job is to take him down and to berate him, belittle him, find any little thing that he says and does. I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ, put your efforts into something a little more useful. And you have this race problem, whether it's perceived or not. Some people may think that it's not true. I don't really agree. I think there are problems. So you have all these problems going on in the United States, and people are worried about, hey, I can't eat. My kids can't eat. Social Security will take a kick in the nuts in a decade. Bloody mess. How could they not see this coming? My last employer took our pension away. Company is one of the largest profitable companies on the planet. I got to tell you that something that, it doesn't really bother my wife as much because she's just kind of like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But it bugs the shit out of me. but I am happy she still has a job. And that is that what a lot of companies are doing is just simply eliminating all bonuses. No more bonuses. No more commissions. Which is where she made the majority of her money. I mean, it doubled her salary. So now, not only did she take a hit of 30% to her salary, she also took a hit from the, from the commission and the, this guy's shooting off, flares? Are these the cops or is this Antifa? They don't look like cops to me. Reinforcements needed. Go to Temple and Broadway, this cop is saying. Wow. Load back up and head up to Temple. Apparently there's a lot of people there. See, one of the problems with trying to stop this kind of thing, like looting and rioting. One of the problems is that you don't want to use lethal force, and that would make it much easier. It's just like, listen, if you're on, just like the police said, or Trump said, if you're on the streets and you're looting, you're going to get shot. Well, it's going to come to that, and once that happens, there's going to be a lot less people out there. I can tell you that right now. Because people don't want to get shot. Once they know, they're not just shooting tear gas now. They're shooting live bullets. It changes the game dramatically. The chick dancing down the street. Go dance down the street. Let's see what happens to you, honey. Just me. Social Security used to have 33 active employees for one retirement. The 50s and 60s today, Social Security has 3 active employees for 40 retirees. Wow. Retirees are living longer, costing more Social Security and Medicare. Life isn't that bad. I am in my 50s, just want to get as much coin as can so I can go wherever I want and not worry. Today's too much BS. Hey, you and me too, buddy. I got 3 other people to think of. And so that means, first of all, it means, 4 times the money, or not necessarily 4 times the money, but more money. Second of all, what about my children who want to live their own lives? Just because I want to go away and my wife, she wouldn't mind it as long as she knew we were going to be safe and secure. But my kids, they want to live their lives. So what's that mean? We got to separate? I guarantee you my wife don't want that. So, we go, listen, it's one thing if we're in Thailand somewhere and we're in the middle of nowhere, but if we're like in Alaska somewhere or some, Montana, something like that, and we want to get away and we just, we're in that position where we can do that, even that is not the answer. It's not, it's not going to solve everything. And for me, it means being away from, it probably means being away from my children. I don't necessarily want to do that. Now, if they feel they need to go somewhere else, whether it be the United States or wherever, okay, fine, I understand. They're trying to keep them contained. Do not push. They're waiting to get their resources in place. Oh! This guy just shot something. What was that? Oh! He shot again! What is this, tear gas? No, it's not. Can't be tear gas. Oh, they're beating the hell out of this one guy because they're telling him to get back. Uh-oh. What are they shooting there? Because they're at close range. Wow. They've shot like 6 times. Another guy, another idiot dancing around. Woohoo! Oh! Idiot. Oh, here they're going to come after. Oh, the cops are like, you back up or else. And now everybody's moving. Once they started shooting, whatever they were shooting, potatoes or whatever, I don't know. Wow, man. This is so disappointing and discouraging. It's really pretty sad. Let's see, what are they doing? Give me a second. Give me a second and I'll handle this. Get you guys a link so you can watch along with me. It's, well, just giving it to you is not going to be, well, let's see here. Hang on. Shit. Man, it is cracking off right now. Let me see here. Hang on. Just give me a second. I'll give you the direct link. Yeah, they're trying to protect City Hall is what he's saying. All right, here comes the share. There we go, copy. God damn it. All right, here we go. Brian, what channel are you looking at? I live here in a suburb of Minneapolis. That's why U.S. needs a better government to think for us and tell us what's good, like an unmentioned country. Beyond Trinity, here's the thing. You know, we've needed better governing for many years. You can't blame this all on Trump, for sure. What about the previous administrations? Looking at Fox News, yeah, right now I'm looking at L.A. on this guy's channel, but yeah, there is a Fox channel also, but the cops have, the cops are moving in. They got other cops coming into the area, and these people are still protesting, but they have been. He's got a what do you call it, the shortwave or whatever, a police radio, and you can hear what the cops are saying. My course is to buy gold and silver stocks. I am bullish there. Things will not go well for us in the next few years. Listen, again, not related to this particular racial incident, whether it's racial or not, this police incident with that happens to be white on black. I don't know what are the other three officers. I don't remember seeing them. I'm thinking about 10 things at once right now. But I don't think anything's going to be normal here in Thailand for years. I think it's going to be years. And people are saying, oh, well, July 1st, it's going to open up here. Yeah, but you're still going to have to come with you're going to have to give the test results. You're going to have to pay to stay. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to go get the certificate. You're going to have to do all these things. People don't want to do this bullshit. Most people don't want to. Wow, the cops are getting excited here. He's telling them, just give me a couple seconds. Do not make any more pushes. This is crazy. You know, there comes a point where the next step is martial law. If it gets crazier than this, that's what they're gonna do. I don't know about that. I don't know. 10 years from now, there will be partisanship in USA. Blacks will still be pissed, and everyone will be yelling over each other. Maybe. Maybe I got out of here at the right time. I don't know. Things are getting a little crazy in Brooklyn too. USA is losing rights. I think that's a little bit of a different issue. The whole rights thing. I think you need to get through some of these issues so that you have time to determine just what is going on with our rights. This right here, this rioting. Right now, they're not rioting. The people are just standing there. But every once in a while, some idiot will start something, and then the cops are forced to react. But this is one matter that goes across the United States. And you're going to have to stop this. It's going to have to stop, and then they're going to have time, and they'll let the dust settle again. And in the meantime, you're going to have to what about all these people thinking about the coronavirus? Obviously, it's not that important right now. And where's the governor on this? Let me see something. Has he said anything? Because I'm looking right now at the LA Times. Protesters shut down the 110 freeway in downtown, clash with police. I don't see a word from the governor yet. Physical precious metal is safer than precious metal stocks. There is more precious metal stock than precious... yeah, you are right. More upside with stocks, though, but not as secure. Isn't that funny? They sell precious metal stock without owning the actual commodity. The other thing, though, is that you got to think of it. Okay, if you have that physical metal, you've got to. If you don't want to lose it, you've got to protect it. Whether it's you've got a stash point or whatever it might be. But you got to remember something else about precious metal. When you need food, there are some people that are not going to take precious metal because they have no way of turning it in, and they don't want to wait. Reinforcements necessary. This guy's such a... Yeah, so they're using lasers to deter the helicopters, which I read about last night. Oh, wow. Federal offense? I wonder if that's true. They love those lasers here in Thailand. Not quite as much as, say, 10 years ago, but and they love them in Hong Kong. But the police use them as well. You see, there's some people, they're just walking along like they're minding their own business. Can't shine green lasers at airplanes. So I think they've got them all, they've blocked them off. It's one thing after another. Now, what I'm wondering is, if I just say, hey, I'm not streaming for a week. I'm not going to stream. And like I've been saying, and I thought about doing it yesterday because I got some messages from somebody, from some company. They were a pain in the ass, and they kept messaging me, and then another company started calling me, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't even want these people to have my number. How did they get my number? Oh, gee, one of them, they got my number because I had to give it to them because... So, really, to me, what's beneficial is you have a phone that is only for your friends and family, and then you have a phone that is for hospitals, whatever it might be, UPS. This is the number you give out to all the places that you don't want to have your private number. You give them a different number. But then the thing is, if you got your phone, you got your, like an iPhone or whatever. For me, it's very tempting. Well, that's how it used to be. I don't have that now. But long ago, when I had multiple, things going on before I was married, I didn't want to give one number, and I had a dual SIM phone. So imagine if you got two dual SIM phones. You got 4 numbers. Wow, they're right in the front steps of City Hall. Wow. I don't know about the newest iPhone because mine's an iPhone 8 and I'm not about to buy a new one because as much as I'd like to have one just because of the cameras, I'm not going to spend the money, nor do I really have the money to spend on it. It would be stupid for me to go and spend money on a phone or, say, another camera or something like that right now. One thing I am thinking about doing, and I don't really know that I even need it, I have lights here in my office, but I don't have a circular light. And the lighting is generally better with a circular light, but I think it's just like me. I said the other day, it's like, do I really need to get a microphone? The sound is clear. Once I get the sound squared away, it's fine. Yeah, they're in front of City Hall right now. Man, if they make a move on City Hall, they are arresting people. But if they attack City Hall, then they deserve everything that they get. Who makes it their mission? I'm going to attack City Hall because I don't like what this cop did. I don't like what he did either. Not at all. Don't get me wrong. I question how everything went down. And I think that's what, legally, that's what they have to do. They have to question every little thing that happened. And are they arresting some people right now? Oh. Wow, there's a couple hundred people standing there right now. Wow. See, this guy's got a good thing here. He's got the video in the background, and then he's sitting there, and you can see him in the video. Damage to public and or private property deserves immediate and meaningful punishment. Hey, listen, are these cops? Yeah, they look like they're cops. They're slowly moving forward now. Is that a black flag? Oh, no, it's a black sign. Okay. Mobile Field Force Code 3. What is that? Arrest law violators. So they're going to make arrests, if not already making. I love the fact they went after CNN today. Yeah, well, you know, you look at it from another perspective, and that is that uh, those people may have started to go after CNN to get them in the news, to get their name out there even more than there are now. I don't know. You know, that's what I heard. It looks like they are arresting some people, but yeah, they're just supposed to sit down, and not resist. It sounds like they've kind of slowed things a little bit, but I don't know what's going on in the rest of the world. Let me see here. Let's check it out here. CNN. Pain and anger across America. How do you know how these people feel? Pain and anger? Oh, so pain and anger caused all this. You know, maybe so, but how do they know? How do they know that it's pain and anger? Maybe it's frustration. Okay, so if they break the police line, they're getting arrested and taken into custody. I wish there was there. I wish there was a way to disband the entire police system and start over, but I realize that is impractical and wishful thinking. The police system, what? In the United States, then what are you going to do? You're going to have a national police? Oh, Jesus, I can just see that. You're going to have the national police control the local police more than the FBI and you know the local police agencies interact now. I mean, in a better way. How are you going to do that? You know, I think you just need to make sure that each particular one is well trained and they have ample resources. Do like me and watch Gunsmoke on INSP channel. What's that? You'll be happier. You're probably right. Well, you're not probably right. You are right. Because you know what? I took a couple of days off the other day. I was like, I understand you didn't write national, but what are you going to do? You've got how many thousands of police forces around the United States? How are you going to disband everybody? It is impractical. So, I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. There's no way to do that. The only way I could think of is if they nationalized some kind of police effort, and that's they already have the FBI, and um, it looks like the cops have got everything blocked off now, and they've got lines of police officers so that there's no way for these people to do much right now. Big Jake. I've seen Big Jake. And, you know, my wife actually likes John Wayne quite a bit. She's watched just about every John Wayne movie you can watch, and it's because of me. I introduced her to John Wayne movies, and then she's like, does he have another one? I'm like, well, we watched all the cowboy movies, and now we only got like some war movies, and she doesn't like those as much. You got people holding their arms up. I don't know what they're doing. Perhaps training is the answer. Training, that's civilian lives matter as much, if not more, than police. You know, wishful thinking, indeed. I don't see it happening. And, you know, I think for years... Oh, here's Oakland. Ooh. Wow. So this is time to embrace what protect and serve actually means. They should throw Molotov cocktails and get the show going. On board. I'm sorry. Listen, MedTech. You know, there is how things are and how they should be. And I've learned a long time ago that for the most part, how things are, it is what it is. Things are the way they are, and it's very unlikely that there's going to be any changes across the board in police forces. Maybe in Minnesota there may be, but I doubt. Aside from maybe there's some police officer somewhere lurking, but yeah, there's always going to be bad people. And aside from putting out some kind of a memo or having a sit down meeting with the cops in the department and saying, hey, listen, let's be very diligent in how we deal with these people. I don't see anything else really happening. You can't train bad people, not being born on integrating in society. Do your best to move on. Yeah, at this point, listen, I hate to sound... what's the word I'm looking for? Like I've given up, because I haven't. You're right, but because of that, I can't blame the protesters if they burn every police station. What are you talking about? Of course you can. Just because one incident happens or a series of incidents happens doesn't give anyone the right to burn down not only police stations, but private businesses. It doesn't give them the right, because some of these people are innocent. I'm talking about the people that get their... You had a guy who had what? It was a bar. He was a fireman. They burned down his bar. He had been saving all his life for that bar so that he could pass it on to his family. He deserved to have it burned down? I mean, really, what? The protesters should not be arrested for arson or whatever else comes with that? They shouldn't be arrested? There are laws in place for a reason. This police officer who put his knee on the guy, in all likelihood, and I think he did break the law, but what the law ends up finding him guilty of is a totally different story. Or innocent of. I'm not trying to twist your words. You're saying I can't blame the protesters if they burn every police station. They're burning more than police stations. That's what I'm saying. I agree. What happened in Minneapolis set a precedent. Inaction showed the people they can do whatever they want, and that idea spread like wildfire. Obviously, yeah. You wrote police stations, but what I'm saying is that they're not only burning police stations. You may be saying, okay, well, go after the police stations. And that's okay, but private property is not okay. I don't know. But what I'm saying is they're not, unfortunately, they are not just, according to you, you're saying that you don't blame them for doing it if it's police stations, but, oh, it's going off. Tear gas. I disagree with them burning police stations too. I think it's stupid to do that. Burning police stations, all it's going to do is give you another charge. It's not going to forward the cause. You may think it will. Oh gosh, they were really pissed off. Okay, we already know they're pissed off. We know they're pissed off when you got a guy kneeling for the national anthem in the Football League. We know people are pissed off. There's a lot of things to be pissed off about right now, and I think that's why this has popped off. It's not only the racial issue, which, as one person said, we're not even sure if this is a racial issue at this point. It just happened to be white on black. MedTech, you have a right to protest, but not the right to damage any property. It's not the same. Exactly. There are laws in place for a reason. I wonder how long before protesters are armed en masse and willing to shoot. What a mess. Well, yeah, okay, if they're willing to shoot, then this is the thing, then you're going to get shot because you won't win. You will not win against the government. I can tell you that right now. Now, it may break down into a civil war or something like that eventually, I don't know, and then that's a different story. If they start having these underground movements and banding together, I don't know, maybe, but I can't see it happening. The government has too much firepower, man. You come to the White House, holy moly, I think this is Oakland. It's a mess. Is that water? Or no, that's something. It's fires. Nobody captured CNN, did they? Yeah, I don't see anything about that. Even on CNN. They were going after CNN before. Hang on a second here. What's the deal? I thought I had some live feed here. This is protesters in Minnesota. When looting and destruction and property start, shooting will start. And I'm not talking about Atlanta, I'm talking about Hong Kong. Yeah, well, I don't dispute that. I don't dispute that. And I don't know what's going to be done. Oakland officers, protesters want to open up again. We're berated for not social distancing. Any of that now? I don't think they can think about that right now. Bring in the freaking National Guard already. Jesus Christ. This is the thing. These people are so wishy-washy. It's like, listen, the minute this shit started happening, be on standby. Let's get ready to go. Once they see, hey, this is getting out of hand, it's spreading. Boom. Put them into play. Put me in, coach. Leaders suck. The rioters could have been stopped. It's not that hard. That's what I'm saying. Get him out there. Where's Trump right now? Trump, says he's going to do things, and greetings in Chile. Wow. The Slammer van. Where is this? This is Oakland, or are we back to LA now? Looks like LA to me. Oh, they're gonna start. Oh! It looked like an electrical box or something. Yeah, people are running. Oh, well, now they're not. These people are just standing around. It looks like there's a few police. But Oakland is it's on fire. There's a lot of smoke. Man. Trump is resting so he can play golf tomorrow. Yeah, sure he is, Beyond Trinity. Come on. Don't let your hatred for Trump shine through. It's okay to hate him. But, do you really think he's going to be playing golf tomorrow? I don't. It's not the president's job, mayors and governors. Where's Gavin Newsom in all this? Has anybody heard any public statement from Gavin Newsom right now? Let's see what he's saying here. Okay, this is May for an emotional Governor Newsom talks privilege race amid protest. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, I'm looking at his Twitter feed right now. Oh, going to repeat. CA is flattening the curve because folks are staying home, practicing physical distancing. Yeah, sure they are. Governor Gavin Newsom issued an executive order extending authorization for local governments to halt evictions. Okay. That was an hour ago. 5 hours ago. New. 1.8 million people have been tested. Okay, so basically he hasn't done anything. At least he has not released any information on his Twitter. I have not seen anything in the news that says he's taking any kind of action. This is just like Hong Kong, except the Hong Kongers have an actual reason because their entire freedom is at stake. He played golf last weekend. So what, the guy's never allowed to go play a round of golf? You ever think he does business while he's playing golf? Come on. Gavin Newsom is eating ice cream with nervous Nancy. Well, you might be right about that. Wow, they're trying to push him. Wow. Yeah, this is pretty heavy, man. I feel for those cops right now. The cops in L.A. they got a hard time of it. Police departments know what to do. Just do it or release a couple of lions. Well, I thought that they had released in Minnesota, they had released... Oh, what is this? This guy's trying to get away. It looked like he was trying to get away. He was running. He was sprinting through the crowd. They'll find him, though. Idiot. Tell the crowd to sit down. Oh, this is Minneapolis. Holy shit. This is painful for me to watch, man. To see, I mean, listen, I don't live there and haven't lived there in a long time, but it's still painful to see this, that all this stuff is going down. Well, why are you watching it? Thank you. Because it's important. Actually, the thing is, it's important to me because I'm streaming it. I thought when I woke up, I thought, wow, this is really important. Of course, like I tell my wife, and she's like, to her, it's like, okay, yeah, what do you want me to say? So I could just turn everything off, take a deep breath, and go have a coffee. And not, I could just bring my little phone here in case somebody needs to call me. I'll bring this one. And then, forget about the news. I know that's what you do. No, it's not the people. It's not the people. What it is it's what's transpiring is important. What's happening is important, and it's one action. It's like a big snowball right now. You got all kinds of things going on at once. And the United States doesn't need all these issues going on all at once like this. And they have had other issues going on all at once, but nothing like what is happening now, I don't think. Not in many, many years. Not in my lifetime that I've seen. Between the virus and what, look at all the people. They're standing around now. It's like nobody's wearing masks. I want to see if there's going to be a spike in the virus now. What are they going to say now if there is no spike? They're going to keep people locked down? The system worked. The cop was arrested. Now wait, the rioters don't care about that either way. Look at this guy. Look at this idiot. Standing on top of a police car, throwing stuff at another police car. Now he's just walking away. Wow. We need more surveillance cameras, more government control, and less freedoms like an unmentioned country. You can mention the country. I don't give a shit. I'm already demonetized for this channel. Which brings me to my next point, since we're going to, I don't know how much longer we're going to go here. Not much longer. Thank you for everybody for watching. I know I didn't give any notice, and I'm going to probably take a break. Maybe not tomorrow. I don't know. I may stream tomorrow, but I'm going to take a break in the next couple of days for a few days. I want to try to think about somewhere I can get off to really relax a little bit. Wow. Anyway, I don't think we need more surveillance cameras. I don't think we need more government control. Less government, less surveillance cameras, and more freedoms. How's the new normal going, guys? I don't think it's called the new normal. Because it's not normal. The new abnormal. Oh, shit. Jono just sent me a message. I'm in the hospital getting my right knee MRI'd. I tripped last night on the sidewalk. I caught myself on the ground with my hands and leg like a dog pose, but in doing so, I tore a tendon. X-rays show a tear, but they need an MRI to ascertain the degree. Holy shit. Wow. That's not good. Yeah, he's he'll be all right, but he'll be in a little bit of pain, and he'll be all right in a few weeks, hopefully. He's an old man, though, so, Let me see something. Anyway, you know what? Longhorns is right. We already know, and I've already said it many, many times, hey, there's a lot of chaos in the world. Oh, my goodness, I can't believe how the CCP is, I know now, there are bad people everywhere, bad things going on. They'll get through this. I just hope it doesn't descend into something worse. Yeah, I know. I'm going to give him a call as soon as I get offline. Nobody's worried about the virus right now over there. I don't know if he knows what's going on. I'm going to assume he does. It's because he tripped. That's why. Because tripping is always humorous. Unless somebody gets hurt, then it's not funny. Yes, I wish everybody well. Don't get too caught up in the news, because I'm going to shut it off and not worry about it. Yeah, let me see something here. What happened? Do I have any little music here? I want to feel like I'm doing something semi-professional. I don't know. Stay safe. Obviously, at this point, the stream has run its course. And it's time to say goodbye. If you've yet to subscribe, please do so. Please click the bell to have any chance in hell of being notified by YouTube. I don't know what it is with them, but Sometimes people get notified, sometimes they don't. Today you wouldn't have got notified because I did this on the spur of the moment. I think you need to give them an hour in advance, which I usually try to give a day or two in advance. But anyway, please make sure to click that bell, subscribe, so you get notified. If you like, share this stream, leave a comment. And if you like what I'm doing and, you know, how I provide a little platform of my own for everybody here, and you want to support the channel, take a look in the description or just go to my website at americaninbangkok.com. Everything's all there. I should say no more. So let me see if I can get this going here. Oh, you know what? This is the thing. My system is not exactly one. Can we make this work? Maybe. That's working. Yeah, all right.